Welcome to Quickshots. Quickshots.
Welcome to Quickshots. You're here with Mitch and James, where we answer your questions. First question for you.
Oh, yeah, mate.
What?
Crumbled under pressure. Where's the energy, mate?
No shimmy, no bringing no energy to the intro. I'll tell you what, I'll be lucky to get a gig back here, but I do have a question for you, James.
All right.
And it is from Shane. So Shane wants to know that, Shane's heard Dan Andrews wants to change the legislation and increase, he says, capital gains tax. What do you know about this now? I think he is referring to the windfall tax that the Andrews government is implementing from July 2022.
Right. I was going to say, because capital gains tax is a federal government charge. So Dan Andrews, he imposed, and I think it's already in effect from the 1st of July, and that is a new tax for people who see the value of their land increase because of rezoning. So typically that's, big farms out in the suburbs. So look, I don't think it applies to the everyday person, Shane. Obviously that might be different if you do own a farm that's getting rezoned. Any gain above 500,000, you get a 50% tax. So a bit harsh. They're taxing you on 50% of that gain, even if it's your own home that you lived in. Which, a bit stiff. But the other one, the 1.75%, you might recall Alex got her knickers in a knot over a 1.75% social housing tax.
Ah, yes.
That was proposed in February. That got scrapped.
Property council law went very hard at that.
Yes, every sort of lobby body seemed to get behind that one. I think, look, Dan Andrews, I don't think he's going to introduce any more taxes in the lead up to a November election. So I think you're safe, Shane, for now, unless you fall into that windfall tax category. This one from Malcolm, and I thought, hey, I'm going to use you for this because you've got, family members down in this part of the world. Mm. Malcolm would like to know about Hobart and how it is going when it comes to house price increases.
Yes, I do have. My mum lives in Hobart. Shout out Denise. Hobart was performing quite well through the boom. So. Let's start on a month-by-month basis. July down 1.2%, but still up 1.5% year to date. This is the Hobart's median house price. Annually up 10.4%. So this time last year, there's been growth of 10.4% and sits at about 783,000 median house price, which relative to Sydney's, if you tuned into the main body of the podcast, is at about 58%. It's
attractive for a retiree,
mate, and great spot too. Particularly around December when the yachts are coming in.
Great spot. The winter, maybe not so much, but long summers.
Cold winters, absolutely, but very good food. One for you, James, from Lonnie. Lonnie wants to know, is it better to pay a little extra in interest and have an offset account or pay less in interest with no offset account to give you more cash flow?
Okay, so first of all, an offset account for those not listening is who may not have listened all the time. We talk about an offset account every now and then, and what it is a savings account that's linked to your home loan. So, for example, if you owe $500,000 and you've got $100,000 sitting in your savings account that is linked, you only pay interest on the difference. So 500 less 100, 400,000. So it saves you a fair bit of money, particularly as interest rates start to increase. In terms of your question, Lonnie, it really is impossible to answer because it depends on your risk profile. You're probably going to get a higher return if you invest it in a smart, safe way. For example, if interest rates are 4%, whilst you might save 4%, you could probably invest it, even term deposits and the like, give you 5, 6, some of the slightly higher risk ones, even 8% without taking too much risk. So you're getting a much higher return than the interest that's being saved by that money sitting in your offset account. But having said that, some people feel a lot more comfortable with the money sitting there in a savings account that they can access if ever they need it, and it is reducing the debt that they pay on their home loan. So, Lonnie, tough one to answer. In fact, almost impossible. It depends on your risk profile. There's pros and cons for both, but a great question. Spoiled this week, won't we, Mitch?
Yeah, some very good questions there.
Very good. All right. Well, guys, thanks for listening. If you've got questions, please send them in. Our email's always in the show notes. Our Instagram handle @thedoubleshot.podcast. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of The Double Shot with your favourite cousins, Alex and James Fitzgerald. If you've got a burning question or something we absolutely need to talk about on the pod, please write to us. Both of our emails are in the show notes. For little real estate tidbits and a little bit of banter, okay, a lot of banter, you can follow us on the gram. Our handle is thedoubleshot.podcast. That, my friends, is thedoubleshot.podcast. Until next time, think of us when you sit back and sip your next double shot.